There is an update to the Corey Harris case here. The Zoom court hearing where he was driving with a suspended license. The judge was stunned, even made this face right here, which is a really, really good face that he's making. It kind of reminds me of 007 characters, like the bad guys, when you like zoom in on their face after they get shot. So the story started with him going to the Zoom court hearing while driving. The judge is like, I might be misunderstanding something here. Someone help me out. Am I off my gourd right now? He's driving, and he has a suspended license. There's a suspended license case, and he is driving on the Zoom call, and he just goes, "Yep, that's correct, Your Honor." So then he ended up turning himself in. He was released 2 days later, like after spending 2 days in jail. Turns out his license suspension was rescinded 2 years ago. So he should have been able to drive, no problem. It shouldn't have been an issue at all. So that was the update to it. And then today, I saw this when we finished cryptid hunting. I saw that there was another update to this where apparently he never had a license, which I haven't really looked into yet. I'm going to learn together with everybody. But it makes me wonder, how the fuck can the system be this disheveled, broken, and dog shit that not only did he not have a license, but somehow they suspended an imaginary license, rescinded the suspension on an imaginary license, then went back, double-checked the suspended rescission, or rescinding, and gave that the green light, gave that the stamp of approval, when it never existed in the fucking first place. It's like a huffalump. Like, that makes no sense. Like, how is there not a paper trail for a license? So let's learn together how this has all unfolded. On May 15th, Michigan man named Corey Harris showed up to virtual court hearing behind the wheel of his car. All right, this is just going to be the setting the stage, the foundation. Okay, here. Things got even stranger at a Wednesday hearing, which began with Judge J. Cedric Simpson revealing that Harris has in fact never had a driver's license and ended with the defendant being taken into custody. Simpson opened the hearing by saying he wanted to make sure the record was clear. Based upon what the court has looked at, he has never had a Michigan license ever, and he has never had a license in the other 49 states and commonwealths that form up this great union. He has never had a license. The judge went on to untangle the confusion, explaining that it had not been Harris's license that had been suspended last October in Pittsfield Township, but rather his privilege to drive in the state. Hence, for example, if he had a Kentucky license, he would be able to drive everywhere that Kentucky would allow him to drive. He just couldn't drive in Michigan because his privileges had been restricted. In fact, Harris apparently knew this. Prosecutor Conrad Siller said during the Wednesday hearing that police body camera footage showed Harris acknowledging at least twice to the officer who pulled him over that he didn't have a valid license. Jesus Christ. This is a lot to process. As to how the court figured it out, Simpson explained that his office had gone back through Harris's records, finding that he had applied for his first Michigan photo ID on May 3rd, 1999 at the age of 19. Counsel knows, and so do I, you cannot have both. Either you have an ID or you have a license. And he has religiously every year gotten a new ID. And so he knows that he doesn't have a license. And quite frankly, I just wish he would have said that at the beginning and all this hoopla could have just been put all aside. Brother, Your Honor, Simpson just dropped a hoopla. A cold hoopla in court right there. What a fucking statement. This guy said, I've had enough of this. It's time to end it. I didn't invent hoopla. He didn't steal my word. I haven't trademarked that. It's not copyrighted. I got it from SpongeBob. Hoopla, hoopla, hoopla. That shit. How did his lawyers not know that? Because it seems like Judge Simpson was really tired of the circus that followed this Zoom court meeting or hearing. And it's like, oh, fuck it. I'll do it myself. We'll do it live. I can't trust anyone. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. So he went into the trenches, combed through all the paperwork manually, and got to the bottom of it. Like I said, anytime you deal with anything even tangentially related to the government, I have learned it is a fucking disaster. I don't know how the country functions in any semblance of the word with the people that are in these government positions. They do not. They refuse to do their jobs. Straight up refuse to. It's laughable. That's why I don't believe in government conspiracies. They're too incompetent. Hey, checkmate. That's a good point, actually. That is a really good point. They can't even figure out whether or not someone has a license, and they act based off of just imaginary dreams that they had about this this license. Yet somehow they're gonna have these grand conspiracies about fucking 5G towers rewriting your DNA and injecting COVID into your cockhole or whatever. After Harris' disastrous pretrial hearing on May 15th, Simpson revoked his bond and ordered him to turn himself in to the county jail that evening, where he spent 2 nights. 2 weeks later, shortly after Harris went viral, ABC affiliate WXYZ. Man, I've actually never read that out loud. I usually just brush over that because I don't feel like saying it all. Man, that's super stupid. ABC affiliate WXYZ. It's trash. I hate that branding. Reported that his suspension, which was tied to a child support case, had actually been lifted by a judge in 2022. It has literally been pure hell. I've been assaulted, I've been followed, I've been laughed at, I've been ridiculed, I have been disrespected, Harris told of the situation. He's been assaulted? Jesus Christ. Like in jail, maybe? Have random people on the street just been accosting this man? That's terrible. The report shed light on the seeming thicket of bureaucratic incompetence that had led to the wrongful citation. In order to see his driving record wiped clean, Harris was supposed to have paid a $125 fee to the Saginaw County Court Clerk's office, which would have allowed the court to send a notice of clearance to the Michigan Secretary of State's office, which oversees regulation of the state's motor vehicles. Harris pointed the finger at Saginaw County Friend of the Court, an office that assists court administrators. They're supposed to have lifted it 2 years ago, but they didn't always double check. Yeah, that's what he said, where like they just don't do what they're supposed to. This is once again just kind of like a recap of like the previous update. Simpson defended his sister court on Wednesday, saying that the Saginaw County Friend of the Court had done nothing wrong. His driving privileges were unsuspended in 2022. That required Mr. Harris to do something. He didn't do it. Therefore, the Friend of the Court was under no obligation to send anything to the Secretary of State. Wait, but he never had a license. Like, this shouldn't have even... They had nothing to unsuspend. He never had a driver's license. Like, I need to look up driving privileges. Is there paperwork for driving privileges? Like, is that a totally separate filing? Because I feel like he's just making that shit up right now. Like, that's something my parents would have made up in order to get me to eat my vegetables or do chores or something. I've never heard of that. What is driving privileges? I'll do, like, court. Well, I dreadfully misspelled that. I typed in privileges. So that didn't work. Hold on. All right. A limited driving privilege is a judgment issued in the discretion of a court for good cause shown authorizing a person with a revoked driver's license to drive for essential purposes related to any of the following: employment or maintenance of a person's household. Okay. Interesting. It was not immediately clear if anyone had notified Harris of the outstanding fee back in 2022. He paid it on Monday, a spokesperson for the Secretary of State previously confirmed, and Simpson said Wednesday that the Friend of the Court had immediately sent over the notice of clearance taking the suspension privileges off his driving record. The judge emphasized that no clerical error had been made either by his office, the Pittsfield Police, or Saginaw County authorities. It was a failure on the part of Mr. Harris to do certain things. It really wasn't, though. What? You guys also bear a lot of blame here. Like, this has been such a fucking convoluted series of, like, twists and turns and tubes to go through. It's not all on him. Driving privileges, driver's license, fucking... It's all over the place. It's crazy just how inefficient all of the systems are. It's so crazy. How could there not just be like one simple protocol? Do you have your license? No. Do you have driving privileges? Yes. Okay. Here's records of both. And then you work from that. It should not be this convoluted. It can't be. Why is there 4 different bodies here that this goes through? The fucking Saginaw BFF of the court, the Secretary of State, the Pittsfield Police, and what was the other one? I forgot the other one. There's just so fucking many. It's just needlessly confusing. Charlie, most of the military still runs on XP. Let that sink in. Not only the military, most hospitals still run off of Windows XP. And they probably always will. Harris's attorney, public defender Dionne Webster Cox, who appeared alongside him in the WXYZ interview, said that she was committed to resolving the case and that Harris was in the process of procuring his license. She said he had his permit test scheduled for Thursday. Once he gets his permit, he's got to drive for at least 30 days. Apparently, he knows how to do that part. After cracking a smile. Other parts of the hearing were less jovial, particularly when Webster Cox stressed that it wasn't Harris's fault that he was now a meme. My client didn't start the hoop. Oh my God, they're dropping hoopla back and forth in here. It's a real Thunderdome. We got ourselves a clash of the Titans. Now the public defender's dropping hoopla. You can't just invoke the power of that word. It's like Voldemort's name. It's an ancient incantation. Perhaps he's made some comments, but he didn't start the hoopla whatsoever. That was someone that was outside of his control. Simpson seemed to take exception to this. You say it wasn't started by him. Oh, it certainly was. It was certainly when he made his first statement to WXYZ. The judge added that the person Harris needed to blame for the kerfuffle. This is so unserious. This one wasn't a quote, though, so this one's just from whoever wrote the article, dropping in a mean kerfuffle. It is actually a children's book here. These are Rick and Morty words. Was the person that was staring at him, the person that he was staring at in the mirror. He later added, just own it. Once you own it, then it becomes a whole lot easier just to move forward. What do you know about being a meme, Judge Simpson? Your Honor? What experience do you have there? The judge then brought up the fact that Harris had a warrant out for his arrest stemming from a separate traffic stop in Allen Park in June 2015 when he'd again been cited for driving without a license. Simpson acknowledged that he didn't know whether this had been mentioned to Harris after the pretrial hearing last month. I really don't care whether he was or not. All I know is that was back in mid-May, and it hasn't been taken care of. Simpson then had court officer escort Harris out of the room. Online records show that Harris has since posted bond in the case. Next court date for the traffic stop is August 13th, while the next hearing in this viral case is slated for August 7th. Mark your calendars. We got another summer blockbuster coming up for this case. I'm sure there's going to be another twist to it where it turns out that Harris is actually like a deep covert operative here. Something. Gonna get the CTU involved with Jack Bauer somehow. Yeah, I don't know what else can come from this in terms of like shocking twists. I think it's all like that's got to be the last bomb that drops, right? Surely there's no more. So I imagine come August it'll just be standard court proceedings, probably nothing crazy. But who knows? This is becoming quite the high-profile case.